ever wanted to know everything about weight loss surgery? Well, your wish has been granted. Introducing the Bariatric Beauties, hosted by me, Sherry.
And me, Victoria. Tune in now for tons of great content every Wednesday, 7 p.m. London time.
And 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You won't want to miss a thing. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bariatric Beauties. We are now in episode 5.
Can't believe episode 5.
I know. Sometimes it feels like this is still our first show, and then other times I'm like, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do a little quick recap to all of you guys who joined last week. Victoria and I had a fun little cook-off. And first of all, in case people didn't see the recipe, we did post it on the bariatric page. But number 2, it was freaking delicious. It was extremely filling. And we did get some comments that next time Victoria didn't have an issue, but apparently people wanted to see the food that I was cooking and I'm not paying attention. So I just put down the camera. And so none of you guys saw what I was cooking or how I was doing it. But yeah, so next time I will pay more attention, but at least Victoria was on at that time.
Yeah.
Victoria, are you ready?
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. Good. Oh, and Emily's watching too. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
So this week we're going to talk a little bit about body dysmorphia and body image.
Yes.
Which is an issue, and it's not even an issue that has to do with bariatrics. Anybody who's lost weight or has insecurities and stuff like that, we've all gone through it at different times. So what we wanted to do is Victoria is going to give us a little definition for people who don't know what exactly is body dysmorphia.
Yeah, okay. So it's a mental condition and or dysmorphia. It's where you spend a lot of the time sort of worrying about your weight, worrying about what you look like and your appearance. And then you're making lots of effort to like conceal these perceived flaws, spending lots of time comparing yourself to others. Which I've done in my past. As I'm on my journey, I've compared lots of times, like, oh, I haven't lost weight like they have, etc. Obesity, or sort of, obsessively looking at yourself in the mirrors or avoiding them completely. So that's sort of what dysmorphia is.
Okay.
But I've done that so many times. Have you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so before we start the show, we do want to put a disclaimer out there. Like, obviously, Victoria and I are not medical professionals. We are just two awesome chicks who have experienced it like everyone else. And we just kind of wanted to talk about it today, the realities that it's out there and it does exist. So we want to talk about it. And then at the end, we might just give some tips or tools that kind of worked for us or is still working for us. Like, we're still a work in progress. So we haven't mastered it, but we want to bring the topic to light because it's something that people don't like talking about. It's embarrassing. It's pointing out flaws and stuff like that. So we kind of want to break the cycle and put it onto the forefront and let's talk about it. And obviously, if you are still struggling with body issues, we recommend, obviously, you reach out so that they can give you the tools and the resources to overcome it and get better. Yes. So, and with that being said, I think when you have like the bariatric surgery, the body dysmorphia comes in 2 waves. And wave number 1 is before you've ever had surgery, just the body dysmorphia when you're obese or you're overweight or you're very heavy. So Victoria, like, did you struggle with that at all?
Really struggled. What, before?
Yeah, before surgery, before you.
Oh, well, before was completely opposite, as I said to you, like before. I was obese, and actually in my head, I thought I was thin. So I dreamt, when you dream and you sort of see yourself, etc. I even dreamt that I would, in my dreams I was thin. I've never, ever, ever seen myself as a big person, ever. And then it was only like when you look in a mirror or you look at a reflection at yourself in sort of like when you're going along. Bear in mind, I'm in a wheelchair as
Right.
well. So I'm in a wheelchair and suddenly I look at the reflection. I'm just like, boy, is that me? Or a photo, anything like that, or just pass a mirror and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was
I
the
was the opposite. I was the opposite. How weird is that?
No,
But I
that's
was thin before.
now I think that for me, I was kind of along that lines a little bit where I didn't
Yeah.
see myself as that fat. Or and even
Mm.
like, yes, you look at yourself in the mirror every single day, but there's something that almost like maybe you're blocking it or you're just not seeing it. And it
Mhm.
wasn't until like you're sitting somewhere and you see a reflection, you're like, oh
That's
geez,
it.
like what is happening? Or
Yeah.
or you take like a group photo and you see your picture and like you're literally like 2 or 3 times the size of everybody else. And you're like,
About 3 people.
is that yeah, and I would like go places and I'm like, oh yeah, like if we were gonna do some kind of an activity, I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally do
Yeah.
that. You have the strength. And then like you can't move
You're
and
doing it and you can't do it.
yeah, in
Yeah.
my mind, I could 100% do this, but it was
Yeah.
like my body would just not
Yeah.
let me do it. And so it was so crazy. And
That's
so
horrible.
yeah, so just like you don't realize visually what
No.
size you are until there's a picture or a
Mhm.
reflection or something
Or
like that. And then
clothes, maybe.
yeah,
You
and then
can't fit something on anymore.
yeah, and or something doesn't fit anymore and you're like, "Oh, I must
Yeah.
have gained
Yeah.
weight."
Mm.
Um, and what we were talking about earlier is people don't talk about your weight as often when you're very heavy. It's almost like
No.
there's this elephant in the room and nobody's saying anything. And we
Yeah.
joked about it in a previous show where somebody would go up to me and they're like, "Oh, Sherry, have you lost some weight? You look really good." And you're like, "No,
You
lady,
lie.
you know damn well I gained like 40 pounds from the last time you saw me." But now you just created this insecurity that
Atmosphere.
obviously you've noticed it enough to have to say something. Um, so that used to be really like really hard to wrap your head
Mm.
around is
Mm.
how is it that you're not seeing yourself
Yeah.
that way? Like
That's right.
what was it like for you? Like is it that like when you would come to that realization or that picture would come and you saw what would go through your mind?
Oh, just revolting. Oh, I look so horrible. Get it away. And then I didn't go in any pictures at all. So trying to find some pictures from now before and after is really,
Yeah.
really difficult because I therefore was just like, no, no pictures. And I hated it. Hated it.
Yeah. So it's almost like the more you're becoming aware of it, the
Yeah.
more recluse you're becoming and retracting and not being in
Oh, I
picture.
became, yeah, an agoraphobia. I did. I just wouldn't go out or anything. But do you know what's funny is when I was thin, I thought I was fat.
It's
So when
crazy.
I was a size 12, as 10 stone, I think it's 140 pounds, I think it is. I thought I was like 385 pounds. And anybody said to me, "Oh, you're looking great tonight," I'd be like, "No, I don't. I look
Yeah.
so fat. I look so fat." And then I'm looking back at those photos, and I'm like, "I look so good."
Like I
And
would love to be that again. And back then I was like, oh, I'm so fat. I have to go on a diet. I have to lose weight. And you're like, I
yeah,
want still to be there.
exactly. Oh, to be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so funny enough, now I've lost 168 pounds, which was 11 stone. Now I've lost that. I'm like, I'm in the photos. Where am I? I'm here. I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
everywhere in the
And it's
photo. I'm
because
terrible.
no, but this something shifts because even though you're not where you were at your lowest, you're
Yeah.
seeing you're starting to see the changes now, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh hey, like we're on
I
there
know. Yeah.
because now because in hindsight you look back at those old pictures and you're like, I wasn't fat then.
I know.
So now that you're inching closer to it, you're like excited, like because now I have a
Yeah.
different
I'm
mindset. Like,
going, getting there, getting there.
but then something shifts, and then you have the surgery, and then you start losing
Yeah.
this weight, and
Yeah.
you almost get this total opposite
Yeah.
body dysmorphia and like struggling with body
I
image.
had that. Yeah.
So what was it like for you when you started losing the
But then
weight?
still, I said, oh, so basically, as I started losing the weight, you still think you're at that weight. So you
Mhm.
still think you're fat. So you're sort of looking at yourself, you're feeling yourself, you're sort of, looking down at yourself, or a seatbelt or something like that. And although it's fitting and it's, I just feel fat. And
Yeah.
you think you're fat. And again, you're sort of looking in the mirror going, oh my God, look at that. Oh, I'm so awful. I'm so horrible. So, and that is a mental thing of the side effect of basically after surgery, and dysmorphia. I mean, it is a mental thing that you just can't get past. And then suddenly you're going, hello.
Yeah, and it's funny because, well, one, when
How
you when
did you feel?
I was gonna say, when you have the surgery, you are losing weight on the number like pretty quickly, but I don't think
Yeah,
your body really has time to adjust to the changes. And just kind of
yeah,
like how I never saw myself as fat, is I didn't see the results right away. And then
no,
people would make a comment or something like that. And but you have the stigma, because when they used to make a comment about your weight, it was
yes,
almost like, that their intention was not to be malicious,
yes,
but it caused more harm than good. It's like, I'd rather
yes,
you just not said anything. But what I've noticed is, all of a sudden, your weight and your body is always the topic of conversation. Every time you would go to an event or a party or a
mhm,
gathering, it's always like, Sherry, you lost weight. How much weight have you lost? What size
yeah,
are you now? And you're like,
yes.
when I was a size 26, you never asked me what size I was. Why are you asking me now? Like, why are you asking me what I weigh now? You didn't ask me when I was 360 pounds or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah,
I felt like all of a sudden it created new issues for me, because I was like, if you're, every time you see me, if you're making a comment about my weight or how I look about it,
mm,
and always had those thoughts before. So now
mm.
it's like, was it just an elephant
Yeah,
in
of course
the room?
it is.
Is
It's
everybody?
judgmental.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it gets to a point where it kind of messes with you for a bit, and then it's almost like you don't know how to handle the attention.
yeah.
People are always complimenting you, and for me, okay, so I'm a Leo, and I love the
I'm a
limelight.
Leo.
I want it to be a
I'm a
Hollywood,
Leo.
and you're
Yeah,
yes, I
I'm
want
a
it to,
Leo. Yeah, I'm the same.
I want it to be like famous, and I want all this attention, but it was something I always secretly wanted when I didn't have it. When you're into, it was like a pipe dream. Like, one day
Yeah,
people are gonna look
yeah,
at me and they're gonna be all excited, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden you kind of get a little bit of attention, and you're like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, so it's like
Yeah,
you secretly crave this attention, and then you get it, and then you don't know how to handle it. So you almost start self-sabotaging yourself. So if somebody goes, "Oh my God, Sherry, like your waist is looking small." Yeah, but I have like this big pooch, or, "Oh yeah, but I have this." And it was like, you're not accepting the results because you're so used to having this negative image of yourself, that you're creating this more attention to your
to,
flaws.
to the other bits.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, I didn't care about my arms before. Like, when
Yeah,
I was 350, why am I obsessing about my arms now? And
yeah,
so then I feel like, especially when you start finding success with the weight loss, you start, I don't want to say if it's like you're being nitpicky, but then you start becoming overly critical
oh,
about
so
specific, yeah, whereas before it was the whole enchilada. The whole enchilada was fat.
I'm
And now,
just fat.
yeah, you were just fat. It was just like all
Just fat.
encompassing. Now, if you're looking at the enchilada, you're like, well, the cheese is a little burnt now, and the tortilla is a little dry, and the chicken, I don't think it's cooked all the way. And like, you're literally picking apart this little burrito, and you're like, what is happening? What, I didn't care. I ate the freaking burrito before, like, as it was. And so for,
Anything.
yeah, so it just got to the point where you're constantly fixated on the negative. And I don't know if it's because you just don't want to own it, like you're afraid of, like, I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but I always, you would see these people in high school or in school who are always pretty. They're like the captain of the cheerleading squad. And
Mhm,
there was
mhm.
always this certain demeanor that people who looked their optimal best and knew it it kind of would go to their head. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I was so afraid of, I never wanted to become that person,
No.
that maybe subconsciously I was just constantly self-sabotaging myself, maybe as a way to humble ourselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to be a humble person, definitely,
Yeah,
because I did see others sort of like, hello,
yeah,
and I didn't want to be that. I definitely didn't want to be that type of person, but I also didn't want to be fat. So, because then I've got judgmentals on my own because I had that side of it. So, mm, um, yeah, definitely, I think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when you're at your worst, it's just human nature to be negative about yourself. You put yourself
I think so.
I'm a fat piece of garbage. I'm not going to amount
Yeah,
to anything. And then, like, when you kind of have this demeanor, it just kind of snowballs into even other areas of your life. And you kind of just keep this self
yeah, it
sabotage.
does.
And then it gets to a point when things start picking up, I think you're just so used to the self sabotage that you keep trying to find things wrong with you. It's just
Hmm.
so weird. And I don't
Yeah.
know, obviously we're not psychologists or anything, so I don't understand the psychology.
No, I
I don't
don't.
mental thing or whatever. But
I think it must be a mental thing.
yeah, I don't know what causes it. So what we
You
want
know, when you're talking about the food, though, and you're taking apart the food, you're
Mhm.
taking apart your body, aren't you? Because this is what I was trying to say when you were talking about the food. You look at yourself and you're just fat. Everything's just fat.
Right.
Everywhere's fat. Your face is fat. Your arms are fat. Your body's fat. But then when you've lost all the weight, like the dysmorphia thing, look at your arms, look at my
Mhm.
tummy. Oh, my boobs are down here.
Yeah,
it's every, or you can nitpick on all your body.
yeah.
And so
And
that's a bit of a
it's
thing, I think, for everyone.
and it's so hard, and we're human, so we can be as positive as we want. It's just human nature. We're so ingrained, and especially of all of these
Mhm.
years of like feeling certain ways and stuff like that. And I remember talking to my bariatric surgeon, like before the surgery.
Yeah,
I've heard stories of women who have like this crazy excess skin. And like people, like women would make jokes like, oh, my lower stomach, I can literally flap it and I can fly away, or my chicken wings are so long I can fly on my own without,
yeah,
the
yeah.
airline. And I told the doctor, I was like, what happens if I have all this crazy excess skin? And he goes, well, then it means that the surgery was a success, right? I guess I didn't think of it that way. It was like
Yeah.
I loved that he was able to put it in a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I always used to say that I've got the more skin I see, the greater I'm going to feel because I know that it's working. I know I'm moving to my target weight.
Right.
So yeah,
And
so
so
I don't mind the loose skin. I will look. I said to you about this and that, but I actually do, on occasions, look at my loose skin, going, "It's getting looser," because I want to. Then I know that it's all going to go.
right, because again, it's like this visual. It's like the visuals is what really drives it home. The visuals in that
Hmm.
picture of you as fat, when you think of it that way, the visuals of seeing you
Yeah,
when you're thinner and you couldn't see it. It's all about the visuals. So what we wanted to do today is we didn't want to talk about all of the negative things. We want to talk about what are some tips and tools and tricks that we think would be beneficial to kind of overcome that. And again, like we said, we're not overnight. We don't have the ability to cure you, but
it's just a few
about this
tips.
that we've been doing. Yeah, a few tips, and it seems to be working. So if there's a way that we can share it with you guys, that's what we're here for.
It may help, and that'd be
So
lovely.
yeah, so we're going to talk about how to change our mindset and how to change how we view ourselves. So one of the things that was interesting, I was telling Victoria about it, is I was part of a support group recently where they had asked me to be like a speaker and kind of talk about stuff. And somebody brought up a point um, that they're starting to lose weight. I think they're about like a month post-op or something like that, but they didn't want to go to the gym because they would go to the gym and they felt extremely insecure, thinking that everybody was staring at them because they were
Yeah,
fat.
I didn't
And
want to go swimming because of that, though. I was really scared to go swimming last week on Monday because I literally thought, "Oh no, everybody's going to judge. Everybody's going to see my knees. Everybody's going to see." Yeah,
wait, and so we have an NSV for
but
Victoria.
we do.
And what
Go
is
on,
it? No,
go
go
on.
ahead. Tell us what your
What about
NSV
my?
was this week.
Yeah, so I got a new swimming costume on. It looked fabulous, and I went in swimming for the first time in over 10 years, I'd say.
Over 10.
Um,
I literally, can you see my little chicken skin? My hair is sticking up. Like,
Yes, I know. Oh my God. And I didn't want to get out. I was in there for 40 minutes, which is just superb again that I was in for so long. And I didn't want to get out. And then the next day I was like, I want to go swimming, but I couldn't because of all the things that we had on that day. And today, full day. But tomorrow I am going swimming because I just every day I'm like, I want to go swimming. It was so fantastic. I want to go swimming.
so this is a perfect example. So you said you were afraid to go. So
Yes.
what was going through your mind when you went there the other day?
Oh, what the bad? I was so
Yeah.
nervous. Yeah, honestly, I was saying to Stu, I don't know where to go. I don't know what about. I've never been in this pool. They've done it up. Suppose do you have to share the changing rooms? So I started to think about the changing rooms, and people are going to be in the changing rooms. But and I said because some of the changing rooms are all open now, and I was thinking, oh no, if it's all open, I've got to change. That's going to be awful. Ah, and then Stu was sort of going, "You'll be all right, you'll be all right." And I'm going, "You don't understand." And yeah, so I was all like that beforehand. And then got in and I saw that there were cubicles. So I was like, "Whew." And then Stu was sitting there. So I knew I had him for support anyway, sitting in like the gallery area. And the gallery is literally just by the pool. So I could speak to him while in the pool, etc. So yeah, and then also what was fantastic about this pool is you can slide in like so as if you've got a wheelchair that can go in. It's got a wheelchair ramp. Not that you're going to put a wheelchair in a swimming pool.
Yeah. I mean, you could try.
It's a ramp. This wheelchair ramp is like a ramp, a walk in, and then you've got small steps that slowly walk you in as well. So, and then you're in so shallow up to your ankles, and you're just slowly making yourself way around. Because last time I got in, I went down some steps and drowned 10 years ago.
Were you drowned?
No, I was literally up like that, head down. Basically my body like was like so big that I just sort of went head and legs up like that. And the kids were laughing their heads off. Nobody was helping me. And I was like that. Lucky I was a strong swimmer because I was like that and got round the right way round.
Oh my God. That's like terrifying.
Well, I know. So I thought, oh no, what if that happens again? But there were lifeguards this time, not my stupid
Okay.
children, laughing their heads off.
Oh my
It was
God. Well, first of
funny.
all, can we get
It
your
was
children on the
funny.
show? Because I'm going to have a talking to. Like, make sure you say first, people. Laugh afterwards. Oh my God.
I
So,
know.
so what was the moment when you were in the pool the other day where it just kind of shifted and you just didn't care anymore about
Um,
all of those fears going into it?
I was strong swimmer because I could do I started off like that, doggy, and then I went into breaststroke, and that was like, oh, I'm doing a bit of breaststroke. Oh, oh. But the point was, I did front crawl because, as
Oh,
I say, I was a very strong swimmer.
yeah.
And so, of course, I did a bit of front crawl, and I was just like, oh my God, flapping my little legs, going like that. And I was just like, hey, I'm a strong swimmer again.
So, and I am so happy. I am so happy that you had this NSV today because I
Yeah.
know how long you've been wanting to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so going back to step one of like kind of revamping everything is when it comes to being afraid to do or try.
Sorry.
This
Say
is
that
the
again.
advice that we're going to give you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was a connection issue.
There was.
So to all of you people, out there who's afraid to try something new, afraid to do that activity, afraid to go to the gym or to go swimming, first and foremost, we cannot control the opinions of somebody else. We have no control. You can be one of those people who bends over backwards, gives the last $10 in your pocket, does everything right, and people can still hate you. So
Yeah.
the point being is we cannot control how someone else is going to see us, what opinions or judgments we can have. The
Yeah.
only thing we can control is how we're going to let it affect us and how we're going to let it determine what the next
Mhm.
steps are going to be. And
Yeah.
just like in Victoria's case, she had all of these reservations. She was afraid of doing it. She was afraid of people looking at her, afraid of how she was going to be in the bathing suit. But she decided to do it anyway. And at
Yeah.
some point, she was so excited over her like little flapping and stuff.
I know, yeah.
She didn't care
You know
if
what else
someone
as
was watching.
well? I loved my flappy skin because, course, it's all going blub 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 blub.
Okay.
It's so funny.
I freaking love that. I
I
might
love
not
it.
share the same sentiment, but I love that you
I
do.
love
Because
that.
again, that was a visual, like having and I say like I've been in the pool before and like you do certain exercise and I look underwater, it's like bloop, 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 bloop.
Exactly.
Your skin is
I
doing that.
love it.
But and I have like even last year when it was in summer and I would go in the pool, it's a visual on the success that you've had up
It
until
is.
this point.
That's it, yeah.
Like, that's so
That's great, isn't it?
um biggest issue number 2 is we compare ourselves to somebody else. And this is probably the biggest theme that both Victoria and I have seen in bariatric communities and support
Mm.
groups. And it's
Mm.
always the same shit.
Yeah.
It's, hey, I'm 1 month out. I only lost 30 pounds. So and so lost 40. Or I'm 6 months out and I
Yeah.
think my sleeve failed because I only lost such and such. Or I'm 22 and I have excess skin, but my friend doesn't. Hers tightened up. Like, what is wrong with me? My sleeve failed me. And
Yes.
it's the biggest, and it sucks. It's the biggest issue and like
Yeah.
borderline downfall of your
Yeah.
success is comparing yourself to anybody else.
Yeah, others. Mm. Other bubbers.
And what we have to retrain our brain. I gave this really good example of if you have identical twins have the same blood type, they're the same height and weight, the same hair color, eye color, everything like that. Let's say both twins are 450 pounds. And on the same day, at the exact same time, with maybe two different, whatever the case is, they both have the surgery. They are going to have different results because there are no two people in this entire world who have the same exact genetic, environmental, financial, whatever makeup as you do.
Yeah.
So just because two people are 5'4" and the same weight, their body shape is different. That's why we have pear shapes and apple shapes and hourglass shapes and stick shape. We have all of these different shapes. And it's really important to remember that specifically, we don't have the same amount of hair on our head. We don't have the same exact red blood cells in our body, or what we don't have the same exact upbringing,
Mm.
emotional issues,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
environmental issues, self issues, mental issues. Like, we are
Yeah.
so differently that number one, when we compare ourselves to somebody else, we're giving them the status of almost like a perfection. And
Yeah. That's it.
who who determines perfection? There's I don't know about you, like, well, except for Victoria and I, we're pretty perfect, but
Oh, in every way.
there's no such thing as perfection, because what is perfection? Perfection is a single person's view on an optimal result or goal. That's one person's opinion. So there might be somebody who looks at me and he goes, oh God, like she's totally ugly, and looks at Victoria and goes, oh, and vice versa. Everybody has different, it's just, that's, you don't know, that's
Ooh.
Every time you
I
come on
love
the
that.
screen,
I do that all the time. That's what made me laugh. Hallelujah.
every time I see you, it's like that Chariots of Fire, like that orchestra. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 Victoria's here.
yeah.
Um. So
Okay, excuse us, guys.
yeah, excuse us. We're having it a
Just
moment.
listen there.
So again, so the biggest advice to this phase is do not compare yourself to anyone else. It's so hard. I know you want like a baseline or something to compare to base your success or your accomplishments. So we're going to give you something to compare to. If you have to compare to something, you
Yes,
compare yourself to yourself yesterday. If you are actively doing a small change or improving yourself from yesterday, then you are successful. We all have different metabolisms and stuff like that. So, success moving forward is going to be to compare it to yourself. If there's problem areas you have, which we're going to go into that in the next thing, there's things that you can do to make small improvements to fix your personal things, because like I said, you can have two people at the same height and weight. One person's
exactly.
going to have really toned arms, the other one's going to be able to fly across the state by themselves. That's that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
um, so yes, so
But we
no.
were thinking like if so what we were saying, like all the positive spin on it.
Mhm.
So we've got to start looking at all the good things,
Yes,
about it, and all the good things about what about your weight loss, etc. That you can turn the dysmorphia around,
right.
and that's what we want. Yes, Teresa's just said to set a small daily goal. That's perfect. That's one. That's for one. Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just
Um,
small daily
hmm,
changes that are adaptable, that are easy to attain.
exactly.
And that's all you can do. So step 3 is we want to kind of switch the mindset up a little bit, and instead of focusing on the negative, we want to start focusing on the positive.
Well,
So Victoria and
positive.
I can kind of a little list of things that we've been self-conscious about, that we've seen other people be self-conscious about. And like I said, it might not work for everybody. But these are just tools to at least give it a go and see what happens. And maybe over time it'll slowly change your mindset to at least get into that habit of doing things that make
Yes.
you feel better about yourself. Um,
Yes.
so what's a good tip for you?
So, good tip is trying on clothes. I would go into a clothes store and I was a size 30 and didn't, sorry, I was a size 24, but I was trying on clothes 30. And so I kept, like, stewards kept bringing clothes in. I was going, I can't be a size 28. And then, so he'd bring in a 28 and that was still too big. And I'm going, surely not a 26. And again, the 26 fit. So I was just like, oh my God, 26
Right.
fit. I thought I was a 30. That's one. So trying on clothes, and you
That's
can
a good
see
one.
that your body has obviously changed physically.
Yes. And for those of you who've lost weight and you feel that you have problem areas, you don't like your midsection, you don't like your boobs or something like that, when it comes to trying on clothes, talk to somebody, like have somebody come with you who can be honest with you.
Yes, I
Find
did.
an outfit. If you're upset with how your stomach looks, find something that accentuates something else or maybe hides the
Yes.
midsection a little bit. It's not about, because again, we're not caring what other people think anymore, we're caring with how we think. So for me,
I got Sophie to come with me, my daughter, Sophie to come with me, and she's brutal. She's absolutely brutal. No, get that off. Yeah. And or put a belt around that. That will look nicer with a belt, etc. But
right.
so I took her, and she was fabulous when she looked. But do you know what I was just about to say? The weird thing is, because you've been big for so long, you also have to do a new style because you don't know what looks good on you anymore. You don't know do you know what I mean? That style, you don't know what style you want to be. Do I want, long dresses? Do I want to be in leggings and tops? Do I want to be a jeans person? Do you know what I mean? So I had to bring Sophie with me to say, right, now you're 49 now, mother, so you can't wear that. And I'm like, oh, why not?
Why
Because you're not 39. No, but
not?
you know what I mean? No, that's right. But it's that sort of thing,
Yeah,
Um, oh, don't wear that because it's like this, and so that doesn't look good. That looks good,
yeah,
and jeans, that would look really nice with jeans. That would look really nice with a dress, that sort of thing, and it really helped because she actually put it into like sets as well. That
right.
really helped.
And that's an excellent suggestion. So when you start losing weight, and you don't, because I don't know, for me, it was a lot of sweatpants and leggings and a big top or a tank top
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I had caftans.
Take the time and determine, like, it's nobody else should tell you what your style is going to be. Like, you were so afraid
Yeah,
to try things because you just assumed because of your weight it wouldn't look good. But this is the time to experiment. And especially like we
that's
were
right.
talking about earlier, if you have from your weight loss that you're a little self-conscious about right now, then don't highlight them. Highlight the things that you do like, and stuff. Find things that are more like, if you're like, I had a hard time with my lower stomach. I still do. But that my actual stomach, like my waistline's getting smaller. So I kind of try to find things that's a little bit more form fitting there, but kind of flow out a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's so
A-line.
yeah, so there's so many things that you can do to kind of change the visual and what you're seeing back. And
Yeah,
it's not that you're hiding anything. It's just like you're accentuating the good stuff. Um,
exactly.
Things that can also make you feel better, we were talking about, is um, when you have weight loss surgery and you lose all of this weight, you obviously lose it everywhere, including
Yeah,
your boobs, and you're not 20 anymore, and neither are your boobs. So something as simple as going out and buying a new bra can just
which
make,
I've just done.
and you did that too. Hey,
I have, and so I've did swimming and a new bra
all in 1 week.
all in 1 week.
That's so amazing. Buying a new bra. I love Spanx. Spanx
Yeah,
are
yeah,
amazing. They
yeah.
help, like, kind of
I've
tone
got some of
everything
those.
out.
Yeah.
Now obviously, and I get it, like, we're human. Like,
If
the
you're
minute,
going out though, it's really nice to wear Spanx and feel like
yeah,
great.
it's about wearing things that just
Yeah,
make you feel good. Um, and then Victoria had brought up a really good point, with trying, like, a different makeup, or trying, so, like,
yeah.
if there's an issue you
I
have,
didn't, I
then
didn't wear
mix it up a
makeup
little
for
bit.
over.
Find a way to kind of,
I didn't wear makeup for years and years and years, over 10 years again, over 15 years. And I didn't know how to do it again. So I was like, oh no. And also, what's happened now is I've got hooded eyelids now where they've sort of dropped slightly. And so now I can accentuate them. So
mhm,
now my eyes are actually going bigger. And now, so again, another positive spin on it. I'd go on
mhm,
the YouTube videos and I'm going, right, okay, hooded eyes. Right, okay, so if I do
right.
this and do that, and I'm like, so now I'm learning how to do my makeup again, and I feel much better.
Yeah, and we live in this digital age where anything that we wanna learn about is literally
Yeah,
at the click of a button. And see, and
yeah,
I could have never guessed that, 'cause, I don't know how to do makeup. I just kinda just think I do, but, like, "Oh, do you
yeah.
contour?"
You do. It looks gorgeous,
I
darling.
don't know.
No, it looks
Oh,
gorgeous. Yeah.
thank you. But I don't know how to contour or highlight or do things like, there's makeup tips to make your nose seem smaller. Like,
Oh,
I want,
yeah, I want that.
yeah,
I
it's
want
just,
that.
it's crazy.
I don't.
And then, so step one is, like, you can wear clothing and certain things that accentuate your body that can make you feel confident, especially if you still have problem areas. So
Yeah,
what happens if you still have those problem areas, and the clothing is not working? So then option two is, and again, we live in a digital age. Like, if there's certain exercises you might be able to find online to help with specific areas. Like, for me, I have the issue with the chicken wings. And obviously, you know, some people will have the surgery down the road, which, and that's an option. But I
Hmm.
wanted to at least, what are things that I can do now to be better than I was yesterday? And it's sometimes it's like certain specific exercises that just target that area.
Yeah.
And there's something, I don't know, something psychological that when you're doing it, kind of getting excited, like I'm kind of what the results are going to be like. And
Yeah.
again, it's
Yeah.
not going to be
That's it.
okay, but you're putting yourself in this mindset that you're going towards something, you're heading towards a
A
goal.
goal.
Just like when you first had the surgery, I'm sure there were certain numbers that you wanted to hit or certain specific things that you wanted to accomplish. These are just more little goals to kind of like push,
Hmm.
propel you forward and put and get yourself
Yeah.
something to be excited about the potential opportunities. Um, so another way to feel better is it doesn't even have to be about your body, is trying something new, whether it's like a new recipe or a new craft or taking a class,
Yeah.
trying something different that you can eventually start practicing and
Yeah.
building skills, because when you build skills in anything, you build confidence. And if you build confidence in another
That's it.
avenue, then eventually it'll spill into your current lane that you're in and stuff like that. So it's about putting yourself out there and just trying things, and it's going to be hit or miss. Some things are going to work, some things are not.
Yeah.
There's some things that I've
I'm
tried.
really trying recipes now. I've never cooked before, and like I said to you, I don't cook. I am really, really trying. It was
Yeah.
pancake day yesterday, and I made pancakes for everybody. I don't normally do that. Stu normally does. Yeah. That's all in 1 week, girl.
Okay, so in
So
1 week,
pancakes, swimming, and makeup. And what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember now.
oh my god, now I'm having a brain fart.
I know, I'm having it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Forget it.
Yes,
But yeah, I've done 4.
it's gonna come to me.
Wait,
Um,
so it's one every day, maybe.
it's like a new thing a day. I like that. You need to
I
be writing.
know, yeah.
You need to write down your NSVs. We're gonna do a future show about that, about
Yeah,
NSV.
it's just I normally put it in my diary. Achievement of the day.
Yeah. So you need to add it to your diary. So
Yes, I do.
so another part of this is when you are feeling down about where you are in your journey, if there's certain things that you don't like about yourself, um, we're going to try an exercise. And it's just instead of focusing on the negative or the flaws or the imperfections that we think we have, we need to start shifting our brain and focusing on the positive and the things that we do like.
Yes.
Um,
Hi,
oh
Eric.
my gosh.
Hi, Eric.
My husband Eric is actually watching. Hello, darling. Just in time, Victoria,
Hello, darling.
I'm putting her on the spot right now. So she is going to look at herself and
Oh,
she's going to name one or two things that she loves about her reflection.
well, the new thing that I've noticed is my cheekbones have come out.
Yes.
So
Look
so they've really come out. And the other thing is my collarbone.
at
That's come out. So I like that as well. I've
Wait,
already gone up to it.
did the collarbone come out this week too? Is that like NSV number
No,
3?
not this week,
Okay, okay.
but they've been coming through as well.
All
But I
right.
was saying to you, like when I was lying down, it's the ribs, isn't it? Like, but yeah. So looking at looking at my reflection, and I think where I am doing my hair and makeup, I think that's changed. So because I am trying to take care of myself rather than before, I didn't care at all. So
And it makes
yeah, that's mine. What about yours?
I love
Oh.
it because when I told Victoria I wanted to do this little exercise, she was like a deer in headlights. She's like, uh. So for me, I think one of my favorite things that I want to put, like, I love my lips. I do.
Yeah,
I always thought
very,
I
very
had a
nice.
I had a nice smile. And there was a time for many years where that smile wouldn't come out, or like my face used to be so big that you just didn't want to see
No,
it. So I would probably say that like my smile is probably one of my favorite things.
it is. It's
And
gorgeous.
And I'm getting cheekbones too.
Yeah.
Sharing that in common. We both have the same issue with our hair though. That was like
We
sticking
were
up.
both talking about our hair. Look, we've got a little cow slip thing, and you've
But we're
got
not
this bit in the middle. But anyway.
yeah, but we're not focusing on the hair. Collarbone
Cheekbones, happy
and
face.
cheekbones and a smile. So that's gonna bring us and that's something that we encourage you guys to do too. And really look at yourself in the mirror. Like, yes, I can look in the mirror and I can be upset with my arms or the way that my thighs are and stuff like that. But when you start transitioning and pinpointing certain things that you do like, and
Like
you're
my
more
eyes.
like your eyes
They're
and you're more
hooded
conscious
now. You know, they're hooded now. So,
about
but
it.
by doing makeup and learning how to do new makeup on hooded eyes, you know, instead of like like my other eye shape, is again, it makes such a difference rather than going, oh my eyes, I'm not going to put any makeup on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's
So,
another spin.
yes. So that's bringing us to part 4 of today's show. And that is retraining our obsessive need to base our lives on numbers. The
Ah,
numbers of a scale,
yes,
the numbers of a clothing size.
yes.
So, how do we do that? Do you have the answer?
Are you asking me? Yes, yes, I have the answer. No, I don't have the answer.
Okay.
Basically, no. I mean, instead of you go on the scales now. Everybody's like fixated on scales. I weigh once a week on a Saturday, and that just helps me every week to get motivated again, or to think, just to reset myself and go right, right, okay, great, I'm doing so good, or you know, right, okay, I've stayed the same this week, so I'm going to do this or make changes here, etc. But you're so fixated on the numbers, you're
Hmm.
not seeing the change in measurements of your body. So
Right.
to start measuring yourself from the beginning really helps. So if you're just post-op, measure, and take photos. Take photos
Yes.
of yourself. I took photos, like, as I said, only when I was probably a little way out because I didn't want any photos of myself fat. But so I suddenly thought, oh no, I've got to do before and after. So I started then taking photos of myself in like leggings and a top,
Yeah.
and things like that, and taking before pictures and after pictures now I can look back at.
Yeah.
Um, and
And I
that really, really helps. And I do that once a month. So I take pictures every single month in the same position. So I take front, side, back, and I do that every month.
And that's good. And I'm sure, like, I don't know if Eric's still listening, but he can attest to this. In the beginning, I had him take pictures all the time. It could have been once a week. And I think it's because there was something that I knew I wanted to be able to measure it that way. Because, like we talked about at the top of the hour, it was all
Mhm.
about the visuals. We didn't see ourselves as fat, and then we didn't see ourselves as skinnier, but it was always these photographs that really put it into perspective. So I
Yes,
would have him take a picture of me every week and I would throw it into like a little file. And then time would go on. And then and especially when the scale doesn't move,
yes,
I go grab some of those pictures and I'd be like, oh my God, like there's still a transformation going. And
yeah,
that's what we want to encourage people to not base it. The scale is a good unit of measurement over time, but
yes.
for your day to day, it can really mess with you mentally
It
because
can.
if you're working out and you're eating healthy and you're doing all these things and then the scale doesn't
But of
move,
course, when you're working out, you're adding muscle,
exactly.
which is a weight gain on the scales. So do you know what I mean? It's like
It,
everything's
yeah, and it's not a useful term of measurement because, like we said before, two people can both weigh exactly 200 pounds and their body shapes can be completely different.
mhm.
So we can't fixate on the numbers of the scale. What we want you guys to start fixating is the NSVs, which I just found out last night. Victoria didn't know what an NSV was. So I guess that term is not huge in the UK.
Not at all.
Yeah. So
Well,
here
that's me. Maybe I was just dumb.
And here's the thing, though. I've been talking about NSVs for weeks now,
She
and
has.
not once have you ever
And I'm
asked me, what is that?
like, I didn't ask ever.
You just let me
Why
keep
didn't I?
talking and like
Then
blow
last night I thought, yeah,
So
you better ask that one.
finally last night, nonchalantly, she's like, "What's an NSV?" And I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me with this?" So for Victoria and anybody else who doesn't know, NSV is an acronym
No.
for non-scale victory.
Victory. See?
Yes, a non-scale victory that you've accomplished success that you before. So
Yeah.
and sitting in a booth,
Yeah.
wrapped your waist. It's all of these little visual
Crossing your
things that.
legs.
Mhm.
Crossing your legs. That's a good one. And what else? What else have I got? Yeah, before and after in the gym, like clothes or dresses and things like that. But yeah, executing all those sort of changes,
Mhm.
especially for the newbies. That by doing that, again, it's what is it? NSVs.
NSV, yeah. Yeah, and so those are great visual explanations of like how far you've come. It just really
Yes.
drives it home. So yes, the scale is important, I guess, for health reasons. The doctor has to weigh you and things like that. But
Yeah.
when we focus on the scale, we're setting ourselves up for failure if it doesn't go the way that we want. But if we
Yes.
focus on these little tiny goals that we want to do, when that day comes and those legs are crossed, the euphoric feeling you have will far surpass whatever the number was on that scale this morning.
Seatbelts. Put a seatbelt over you. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, because
And you're not like
yes, because that is a tangible result of your journey. Because the
That's right.
number, there's been times where I'll literally eat some rice and the next day I've gained 4 pounds. And you're like, I did not eat 4 pounds of rice or
Yes.
4 pounds of food.
Yeah.
So it's so deceiving. And there's so many variables, your water intake, your sodium
Yeah.
intake, things that can make you bloat. But it's those NSVs that really tell you how successful you are becoming.
That's
It gives
it.
you something to look forward to. It gives
Yeah.
you something to be excited by. And then when they come to fruition, you're so excited,
That's it.
you're gonna find bigger
Yeah.
to
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 achieve.
things we were talking about too, Dia. If you're just starting out your journey, keep a pair of your pants for a while. Keep a pair of those jeans.
Yeah. Please stop your jeans. Because I threw my big
I
ones out.
I
And it was so funny because
picture
yeah.
and yeah, I took a picture that the biggest size I was a size 26, which I think we determined in the UK was a size 30, right? I believe.
Right.
So I kept those jeans for a while. And then when I got down to a size 10, I had the pair of 26 and I put the pair of 10s right on top of it. And it blew my mind visually how much of a difference that was. And
That's
and then
it.
I went and I put on those size 26 pants and I fit my whole body into one leg. And it was that visual reality. Like I literally lost half of myself. And
Yes. Like
those are little
my
tiny
husband
moments.
was yeah, amazing. My husband and Sophie, again, they did as a joke, came round in my trousers together. So the two of them were in one leg and they were like walking along.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And I was laughing my socks off. But yeah, again, that's a thing, isn't it? But then I chucked those jeans out. Why? I really wish I'd kept them.
Well, because Victoria, we didn't have a podcast back then to give you all of these tips
That's
and
right.
tools.
That's what it is. That's what it
That's what
is.
it is. So forward, I'm not saying keep them for the rest of your life, but keep them for a while. And sometimes for some people, just looking at it as a reminder, like never again, or I'd
Yeah.
be there again, or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. And I can't believe it. Like, we're almost out of time. This is so weird.
I know. I was looking as well to
Um,
sort of
so,
so
so should we tell them what the plan is for next week?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Going off
next,
this week,
yes,
it's going sort of along the lines of this week, dysmorphia, the mental side of this week. So we're going to go into next week with bum,
with
bum, bum.
we're gonna have a special guest, Miss Kelly Taylor, who is a clinical psychologist and works with bariatric patients a lot of times for the pre-op appointment procedure. And we talked to her
We're
a little
very
while
excited.
ago, and she's excited, and we're excited because, like we said, we're not professionals, so we don't understand why things are the way they are.
So
We
we're
just
hoping to tell us.
yeah, we're just learning how to react to it and how to adapt to it, and
That's it.
keep pushing forward. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of pick her brain a little bit and ask her questions.
Yeah.
And obviously, we want to hear from you guys. We want to, if there's any questions that you have that you want us to ask, if there's certain things that you're
Mm-hmm.
struggling with that you kind of want like an opinion, or
Yeah.
maybe understand the mechanics a little bit behind it, like send us a message, reach out to us. And yeah, so she's gonna be joining us. She lives in New Jersey, so it'll be 2 p.m. her time, and
Yes.
we're excited.
Hello. Very excited. So
Yeah,
7 p.m. London time.
yes,
So it's going to be 2 US Eastern time and 11 US PST time. Yeah.
yes.
Great.
I think we covered all the bases.
I
Um,
think we're everywhere in the world.
so we should find out like the time zones in Japan and like
I know time zones everywhere. No, it's
um,
funny.
so yeah, I'm just super excited, and I love that people are responding and they want to be a part of it, and they want to jump on
Yes.
the bandwagon of like, let's spread it out more, let's help other people, awareness. Because like I said, man, that they had this stuff 7.5 years ago when I went through
Yeah.
this, I
Yeah.
think it would have made, I don't know if it would have shaped me any differently. Maybe we had, like, it's all for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm just really glad. I want to get to the point where we can just help, even if it's just shifting the mindset just a little bit and helping people just be better versions of themselves.
Yeah. Next week would be great as well
Yeah,
with
I'm so
Kelly.
excited. And I've been
That will
part,
help.
she has a ton of support groups that people come to, and
Great.
I've been a part of some of the support groups, and it's so nice to be in a situation where you're talking to other people who've gone through it like you. One, because
Mm.
they understand it better. Two, it's a constant reminder that you're not alone. Like, there were so many times when I was doing this on my own and I would have something happen, whether it was with my blood pressure or
Yeah.
something, and I think I'm dying, and I'm like doing the WebMD, and I'm Googling my symptoms.
Yeah.
I have some rare disease now because, and then
Yeah.
you're,
It's so true.
and then and then you find out that other people are like, oh my God, that happened to me too. And you're like, well, shit. Like, I shouldn't have Googled my symptoms, because yeah, Eric said I'm
Yeah.
banned from Googling my symptoms because
From
I always
Google, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
have some
funny.
rare. But anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's pretty much a wrap for today.
It is.
Again, we thank you so much for
Thank
watching,
you for watching.
giving your
Whether
inputs.
it's now and after as well. Some people come in after and watch it when they've got time. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Tune in next week.
We'll see you next week with Kelly.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
I love you guys.
See you next week.